Veriff is the quickest way for your customer to prove to you that they are who they say they are. But how do you get Veriff? And how do you use it once you've got it? That's where Veriff Station comes in, your starting point with Veriff. And here's our developer Oit to tell you how to integrate Veriff Station with Zapier.
Hello, my name is Oit and I'm going to give you a quick overview how to integrate Veriff Station with Zapier and Google Sheets. I have already Zapier open and I've prepared a Google Sheet. Here I have verification ID and all the other column headers that I want to use. In Zapier, let's create a new Zap, starting with Webhooks by Zapier as a trigger. Here we need to configure catch hook. So Zapier will give us the custom URL we can configure as a webhook listener. So let's go to Station and configure our integration. Let's open it. And under the settings, let's locate the webhooks decision URL. Delete whatever is there and replace it with the one you got from Zapier. No need to save this because it's already there. Okay. Now we can continue. It failed because we don't have any payload sent to this URL just yet. So let's move back to Station, open any session and resend some webhook here. Now that's done, we can proceed with our trigger and see if it works. Nice, we got all the data and we can continue with the Zap. Next we want to configure Google Sheets here and update the existing row. So I will use the action to look up for existing row and continue. I will connect my Google account in the background so you won't see how I set it up. But here I'm mapping exactly the same sheet that I have open in the previous tab. Next, for the lookup column, I'm going to look up the column by the Veriff ID. This is a unique identifier for all verification sessions provided by Veriff. Map the value, and if this value doesn't exist in this Google Sheet, I will create a new row in the sheet. For the new row, I need to map values from the webhook. First again Veriff ID. Next is my unique identifier, which is my custom ID I want to use to track my verifications. And this is actually sent when you create new verification for your customer. You can define this here. I will set it to 0037. Okay, so moving back. It's important to note that under the webhook it's stored as vendor data. And next very important field I want to cover is verification status, and the status is actually the status provided from Veriff. So if the session is approved, it's approved, and if declined, then it will be declined. So let's verify that all our required fields are filled. All my custom fields are also here, and we can continue. There is a nice green arrow indicating that everything's good. So now we can go and check if we have some data on our Google Sheet. And here it is. Sample data is present, first name, last name, all the details I wanted. Alright, so let's move back to Zapier and define what will happen if the row is found. I will again use the Google Sheets, and this time I want to update the existing row. I will again skip my profile and point out the very same sheet that I used before. For the row, let's open up the custom values and use the second step ID. So if second step returns something or finds existing record, it will give us the ID. And for that ID, we can also define all the values we want to update. I will fill pretty much all the same details as I did for the previous step where I created a new record. Most important one that you probably want to update is the verification status in case the resubmit changes to approved or declined. Let's test. Alright, looks like it was successful. So now name your SAP. I'm going to name it Veriff to Google Sheets and turn it on. Alright, here we are. Now we can go back to Veriff Station and test out if creating a new session also works. I will create a new verification session, complete the flow with my mobile phone. As you see, I've completed the flow and it's already submitted. So I can open up the verification and update the status to approved. Okay. Now I can also check out the Webhooks tab here to see that Webhook for approved decision was sent. So my Google Sheet has a new row with the approved decision. Okay, but the previous one is resubmitted, so let's resend this webhook again to see if our record gets updated. So opening up the same session, under the Webhooks tab there is already approved webhook sent. So I'll simply use the resend option. And now I can see that this row has successfully updated to approved as well. All my other details are also here, and looks like we have completed our Zapier integration successfully. Thank you very much.
If you'd like to learn even more about Veriff and Veriff Station, you can visit us at veriff.com. Thanks for watching and happy veriffing.